Hello. Hey, welcome to Steph's World, the world of love and light, the world of truth. Chapter 10. I'm going to say it's 10 because I'm pretty sure I did a 9. Whether I published it or not, I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen all of you. Any of you that like to see me, or shall we say. Hey, I'm an old biker chick. I really am. I got pictures of one of my ending bikes. You bet I am. I'm a rock and roll girl and I'm an old biker chick, so, it takes a lot for me not to be kind of rough. And if I sound a little rough, that's why. That's the very reason. Oh, one time I was asked if I wanted to be a DJ. How about that? Because I got a deep, sounding voice, and they like that in women DJs, or at least they used to. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'd like to talk about several things. One is meditation. Meditation is an unbelievable thing, and especially for challenged or disabled people, it's really cool. And, you know, believe it or not, it's almost easier I think, for a challenged person to meditate than a non challenged person. And let me tell you why. I've been meditating for a very long time. And, there was a time when I wouldn't have called myself disabled. Okay? There was a time when I felt like I had a life and I could stand up straight and I could carry on a relationship with a man and I could go to work and I could do all those things. And maybe I had some pain, but not much. And so I have had a life away from what I have today. And what I have today is pretty severe. But I'm here. Here I am. Alright? So there's plenty of miracles going around, let me tell you. Alright, now, when I meditated before, I really went deep. Now, when I say go deep, that means that everything's blocked out. You're one with whatever, wherever you go. Okay, I'm not going to tell you where you go. That's what you need to find out. But I'll tell you about my experience, and I'm going to teach you today, basically, how to do it. I'm going to give you my basics. This is how I was taught to meditate. I learned this in a metaphysics class that I took, years ago. Years ago. Hey, I like to learn. I love to learn. A few years ago, even when I was so disabled that it was the only way I could have even gone back to school, had to be in a electric wheelchair. I was going to do it to become a doctor. How about that? I still have all my paperwork for it. Never happened. The wheelchair didn't get there in time, and I just couldn't do it. Okay, wasn't meant to be. Now, see this ravaged old candle in front of me? Well, I used to have a whole box full of these long candles. They don't smell. They're the kind that Grandma used to put on the dinner table, you know? Yeah, they're that kind. Now, I recommend that you don't use the long ones. If you can find much shorter ones, you're better off. Now, this candle does a lot than just giving out a little tiny bit of light. It does a tremendous amount. It gives out a lot of light. But you're not going to find that out until you start practicing what I suggest. You don't have to do any of this. It's just Steph. Okay? The world according to Steph. It's my way of meditating. And I'm sure a lot of you never do this, okay? But those of you who've been to the same kind of metaphysics classes I went to, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? This made it easier when the time came for me to make my mind still. This enabled me to do that. Do you realize how many thoughts and things go through your mind throughout a minute, throughout a second? It's unbelievable. I'm sure they have statistics on it. It's a teeth. Sorry. But I'm sure they have them. And in fact, I could probably look them up. But I know for a fact that there's a lot, because when I first did this exercise, I about filled up a page with little slash marks. And I'll explain that in a minute. You know, even hair hitting the side of your face, okay? That's a disturbance to the stillness of your mind. That is a disturbance. Anything that takes you away from stilling your thoughts, from making everything go away. Everything. Anything. A nose itch is a disturbance. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you how to do this. You light this candle, and by the way, you do this every morning. Every single morning. And then I'm going to tell you what you do after it gets to a certain point. You have a little piece of paper, a pad of paper next to you. You have a pencil with that pad of paper. Okay? Keep the pencil in your hand. Just keep it in your hand. Take your candle that should be about this big and not that big. This is one of my last candles before I was ready to move into the real thing. Now, light the wick. Make sure there's no children yelling and screaming or crying in the background. No spouse yelling at you in the background. Nothing in the background. They used to tell us to do it first thing in the morning, like before breakfast even. Okay? That's what they told us. Now, I think I did do that. I followed their directions because I was still working at the time. It was tough trying to do that job, and you have no idea how tough that my job became. And it's kind of towards its middle to towards the end of my career there. Man, they had me doing all kinds of stuff. But anyway, we aren't going to talk about that. No complaints. I'm grateful I had it. But you light your candle, Let it get steady because it's going to jump. Okay? Oh, and by the way, if you have one of those clocks that don't make any noise though, but they'll buzz when you get there, like your watch probably has one. You know, maybe you could do it on, have your cell phone do it. I don't know. Set your timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And just sit there at your kitchen table. Have this candle sitting in front of you with the light. Sit at the kitchen table. Sit wherever you can sit. If you're disabled or challenged, do it wherever you can do it. The most comfortable place you can find. Okay? Now, when I first started it, the kitchen table was okay for me because I don't think my back hurt like it did today. I don't remember it hurting that way. So I was still capable of sitting up. Well, I hadn't been fused all through my neck yet, so I was capable of doing this and sitting up. Okay, so what we're going to do is you've got your lit candle, you've got your pencil in hand, you got your piece of paper, and you start staring at that candle because you only got 5 minutes. And all you're going to do is focus on the flame of that candle. Focus your everything on the flame of that candle. Do not think of anything but the flame of that candle. Nothing but the flame of that candle. And every moment that your mind wanders, every moment, make a slash on that piece of paper. And don't look at the piece of paper. Just make a slash. Just try to do it so it isn't too wild. Mine were pretty wild. Went with the territory. So anyway, 5 minutes. That's all you need to do it. And then when your little buzzer goes off, take a look at your pad and be shocked. Because if it isn't full of slashes, then you're an amazing person. You really are. Or you're a dumb person. No, I'm only kidding. You're an amazing person because I'll tell you right now, your mind thinks all the time. And unless you have been trained, and this is one of the ways to train it, to keep it still, you are going to have a paper full of slashes. And they're going to be wild and all over the place. And you should try to count them up and put your number for the day at the bottom of the page. Just do it one time during the day before you go to work or whatever. One time. Each day. Do that. Every single day. Do not take a day off. If you take a day off, it's like starting over again. And you don't want to do that. Now, after about a month of doing that, see how many slashes you have. Because you're staring at that light and you're focusing every bit of your thinking purely on that flame. That one little flame. That's all you're going to think about. You're not going to think about Aunt Alice and what Aunt Alice is doing right now. You're not going to think about the itch on your nose. You're not going to think about your feet hurting for some reason, you're not going to think about any of that stuff. You're going to focus and think about the flame that is in front of you. And that's all you're going to think about. And if you think that's easy, try it. And be honest about it, by the way. But you please try it. I would love to hear about some of your experiences. I wish I had saved my papers. I really do. Maybe I did, because I saved everything. When I moved down here to Georgia, I had boxes of trash, believe it or not. They packed up all my stuff that was supposed to be zipped away, but they didn't do it. Nobody did that. They just packed it in boxes. Unbelievable. But we're going to get rid of them eventually. Okay, so the candle. Oh, and here's something very important. No smelly candles. None of that. That will take your mind off the flame. That beautiful, sweet smell will take your mind off the flame. That's why we recommend that you do it in the morning. And I say we because I learned that from another group of people who did it too. It was part of our class assignment. And we had to keep doing it until we finally got to the point where we did not need a candle. Now, let me tell you when that point comes. After you've done 5 minutes, it might take a month, it may take shorter, it may take longer, and you only have like 3, 4 slashes, and that's it. Increase your time. Go to 7 minutes. Oh yeah, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot more, huh? No, no, no. Go to 7 minutes. And guess what's going to happen? In 7 minutes, just going up 2 minutes, you are going to start filling that page again. And if you don't believe me, please try it. I really seriously encourage you to try it. I challenge you to try it. I really do. But I hope you do. I hope you give this a chance, because one of these days, when you get to the ready point where you don't need the candle, it will be an amazing experience to start out with. And then it will become even better, and even better, and even better, and even better from that point on. The more you do it, if you do it every day, it will be absolutely remarkable. I can promise you that. You will have peace in your heart. Great peace. And some of the things that you will see, you'll want to write about. You really will. But anyway, let's get back to the beginning. So, when you get to the point of, okay, I'm ready for 7 minutes. So you do 7 minutes until your tablet gets down to 3 or 4, and that's it. Okay? One of these days, we're hoping you get down to nothing. That'll be the day, actually. But you also need the time. You have to work up to the time. Now, add about 3-4 minutes on each time you increase it. Okay? And increase it at every point that you only have 3 to 4 slashes on your piece of paper. Okay? Now, when I was in the class, they said when we hit a half an hour, that was a good point right there to start doing it without the candle. To actually get in a comfortable position somewhere and focus on the light. Yeah, how about that? Put that light that you've been staring at inside your mind and see what it becomes. I think you'd be a little shocked. I really do. But you can't do it until you learn to get all thoughts of anything out of your mind. You have got to free your mind. You have got to still your mind. That is a rule. Okay? And that's Steph's way to learn how to meditate. And after that, when you get to that point, then I'm going to wait for about 3 months. And then I'm going to do another video about how to relax in order to focus on the light. Now you know why, if you've ever seen anything I've written, I usually sign it Love and Light, Steph. Now you know where the light comes from. Right here. That's where mine started. It amazes me that I still have this old candle and I still have this old thing that holds it. I don't even have a mate to it. How about that? Kind of like me. Okay. Now, I'm going to read you some things. Oh yeah, reading time. How about that? Some of these are, well, I put it down, important readings to remember. This was back in 1995, February 4th, 1995. You know, I buried my son 3 years ago, February 7th, 1995, or 2011. I buried my child. And I'm doing pretty good. I'm not unmanageable. I'm not in constant tears. I'm doing much better. I really am. But don't think I don't cry. This morning, when I awoke, I had been crying through the night. I had dried up tears all around my eyes. So I had been crying, but I don't know about what. I couldn't tell you. But I did wake up that way. And the closer I get to my child's death anniversary, the more I've noticed it. So apparently, my soul is still crying about it. So, it's life. You know, a mother and a father never get over their child's death. Don't ever think we do. I don't know any parent that has gotten over their child's death. I can tell you this too. when he was in the Army, and I've got the video of the Army service, and they flew my daughter and his father, my ex-husband, out there. Now, I was supposed to go, but I couldn't fly because I had a brain aneurysm, and that was before he passed away. By the way, that brain aneurysm should have killed me. I was told that by a neurosurgeon. In fact, he's one of the best in Kansas City. And he got the reports on it. He wasn't there at the time, but I went to him later. And he got all the information, and he told me right out, he said, you should have died. I have no idea why you're here. Well, it's been, what, almost 8 years, and I'm still here. I have seizures, but I don't care. I live with them. Now, getting back to how ironic life can be, February 4th, 1995, all that time was very important to me. I'd broken my back, all kinds of stuff. Oh my God. It had been a terrible time for me. And my whole life changed, totally changed. Once I broke my lower back, I'd had my neck broken by my first husband. But once I had my lower back broken, I fell. Oh my God. And it broke in half. I mean, it was a clean break. And it was the biggest bone we have. And it was just below my spinal cord. And some said, oh, be grateful for that. Well, not today. And they finally did have to definitely operate on me. So, no, I wasn't too grateful. But you know what? In other ways, I am grateful. I am. But getting back to what I was going to tell you, I can't fly in an airplane, they say, because I had a brain aneurysm and I have a brain full of metal and I have a body full of metal. But it wasn't the body full of metal that would keep me from flying. It was the aneurysm and the metal in my brain. And that metal is literally holding one of my veins together, or it's doing a bypass through there somehow. I can't explain it really very well. But anyway, they went to his Army ceremony. Now I put part of the recording online. And I've had 301 hits. And I'm happy that people have gone to see it, have found out about my child, and what a wonderful man he was. And he was. And I couldn't have gone. I was in no shape to go to that. There was no way I could have sat through that ceremony. And I could hear my daughter sobbing through it. A mother can hear her child. And I heard my daughter. And I know my ex-husband was crying because that was his son too. So anyway, we parents, we don't ever get over that. Not ever. But it does get better. It does. I promise you that. It does. Now, I could blame his death on his anniversary on some of my behavior lately. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I'm trying not, I don't do the blame game. If I've done something wrong, I've done something wrong. I'll own up to it. I promise you that. Okay. Now, oh, by the way, but I won't own up to the things I didn't do. Sorry. Not going to own up to that. Okay? Alright, now, some writings that were pretty cool. You get to the point where your demons, which are terrifying, get smaller and smaller, and you get bigger and bigger. And that was by August Wilson. I have no idea what year. Can't even remember where I got that from. Okay? Let's see. Here's one. Let one therefore keep the mind pure, for what a man thinks, that he becomes. That was from the Upanishads. Oh, Upanishads. Sorry, can't pronounce it. I guess that's okay, right? Alright. Now here's one. We need to learn to live, to focus on anything good or useful to our lives, and let the rest of the world go about its business. How can I help my children? That's what that's from. And I don't know where this one came from. I think it came from me. I really do. I got a little asterisk by it. I'm pretty sure it came from me. I must treat myself as I would a gentle creature of God, with tenderness, patience, compassion, wonder, and love. And I'm going to end it there. I love all of you. I really do. And I hope some of my people in my community watch this. I really do. And if you don't, I'll just keep playing it. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.